Just a Okay, so welcome everybody and good morning.
Good morning.
It's end of November, right?
Wow.
We are in this Christmas season.
Black Friday.
Again, yeah, Black Friday, Cyber Monday,
Cyber
and all of
Monday.
that. I want to reinforce and invite everyone to our Christmas dinner and party and celebration on December 13th. Will be our last event for 2025, and we'll be celebrating this moment at 4 p.m. at the Meadowlark Park Community Association. Must say, how are you doing here? We just had the first rehearsal of our FSS band. It's looking sharp, so I strongly recommend and suggest for you to join us. I think it will be a very fraternal and a good moment for everybody to be together. Yeah, and we'll just so you know, we'll have our party on December 13th. December 14th, which is a Sunday, will be the last public event that we'll have at FSS. And then we'll go for a break, for a holiday break, and we will be back on July 3rd, I think is a...
January.
Not July.
July. Why am I saying July? It's my head is already in the summer. It's summer already.
You want 6 months vacation.
Yeah. So January 4th, which is the first Sunday of the month, of the year. Good. Awesome. So, because we're entering that season, Christmas, New Year, so today we're going to talk about Christmas and what it means and what do we need, or what is the invitation for all of us while we go through this season. And to open, I want to read a text from the Living Spring, which is entitled Christmas. And the passage is from Luke, saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace to men of good will." It's Luke 2:14. And Emmanuel will help us. Announcing the great renewer, the angelic legion at the manger spoke no word of violence. Glory to God in the divine universe. Peace on earth, goodwill to men and women. Bequeathing the new age of safety and tranquility to the world, the Supreme Father did not vest the heavenly ambassador with powers to injure or destroy. No punishment for the greedy rich, no punishment for the desperate poor, no disdain for the weak, no condemnation for sinners, no hostility toward the proud Pharisee, no anathema against the unaware Gentile. Using the hands of Jesus, the divine treasure was poured out for the work of goodwill. The justice of an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth had finally encountered love, ready and willing for sublime selflessness, and all the way to the cross. Amazed before the light born in the stable, people and animals express indescribable joy. From that unforgettable moment on, the earth would be renewed. The torturer would be worthy of compassion. The enemy would become a misguided brother or sister. The criminal would be regarded as ill. In Rome, the people would gradually cease the slaughter in the circus. In Sidon, slaves would no longer have their eyes gouged out by the cruelty of their masters. In Jerusalem, the sick will no longer be relegated to the valley of filth. Jesus brought the message of true fraternity, and revealing it, he passed victoriously from the straw manger to the bloody cross. Brothers and sisters, you who hear the sweet echoes of the angels' miraculous song at Christmas, remember that the Master came to us so that we may love one another. Christmas, good news, goodwill. Let us extend sympathy to all, and let us truly begin to live with Jesus and the splendor of a new day. So let us pray. So raising our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and connecting to God, to Jesus, to our guardian angels, and the entire spiritual team, let's be grateful for one more day, one more Sunday morning, and also one more year that we are here together, learning what Jesus has taught us through this consoling doctrine, which is Spiritism, that enlightens us and help us to apply those teachings at our capacity and everything that we can do to become better immortal spirits. Let's pray that this Sunday morning, let's pray that this week and the rest of this year be blessed, be full of joy, of love, of empathy, of charity, and that the love of God and the light of God and Jesus can shine inside of our hearts, and we can make room for Jesus to live within us, and that we have another blessed meeting, and we remain with our thoughts connected to God's wisdom, to God's love. So be it. All right. So the birth of Jesus, and kind of the question is, have we made room, or have we opened the necessary space in our souls so that Jesus can be born and dwell, habitar within us? And my objective for today, I did this talk, and I felt the need to do it again back in 2021. So it's past 4 years. And I think there's so many invitations, and there's a lot of good literature from Spiritism that can help us understand more deeply what it means. And not only what it means, but what are some of the historical things that happened when Jesus was born, and what does that mean for us right now, living in this day and age, in this world that is changing. And so my objective today is hopefully to understand Christmas beyond the historical facts, but as an opportunity for to do something to happen inside ourselves. I'm going to use 2 main texts, and I encourage you, you can Google it, there's like PDFs available. This book here, Antologia Mediúnica do Natal, have like, I don't know how many texts, and they're so clear and easy to understand about what the Spiritism can tell us, and how to interpret it, and how to embed this and start doing what we can to live and to have, or to allow Jesus to live in our hearts. So I'm going to use first the Christ Christmas from Chico Xavier, from the book Fonte de Paz, or Source of Peace. And then the Natal Symbolic Christmas, that can be found in 2 books, Antologia Mediúnica do Natal or Pontos e Contos, both from Chico Xavier. And of course, I'm guiding my reflections using some of reflections from Arthur Valadares. And the first text, the Christ's Christmas, it tells that the wisdom of life placed the Christmas of Jesus ahead of the New Year, in the memory of humanity, as if renewing the opportunities for fraternal love in light of our commitments to time. What do you guess? Is that by chance? Why do we have Christmas on 25th and January 1st is the New Year? Why do you think that happened? Why that?
I heard it was because it replaced a Roman holiday that was at the solstice. And so it was convenient for early Christianity to use the celebratory spirit of the early Romans to select that as Jesus' birthday.
Interesting. I didn't know that. So Artur does some reflections about why they're kind of together and how they tie together for us. What is for us to do and how we as human beings work. We like to work in cycles, right? Like we have, we finished this year, or we have seasons. We do very well when we compartmentalize our efforts or our objectives. And Artur makes a reflection then, the Christmas, what happens in Christmas is, as we were just singing here, there is a different vibe. There's a different energy, even though there is this consumerism. It's about gift, it's about giving something and food, but at the same time, there is a more inclination from ourselves to be more vulnerable, to be more compassionate, to maybe take more a deep look into ourselves and to do that reflection. So the word, the gregora, the word is more in a better state to do that. And then comes New Year, right? And New Year we have our New Year's resolution, where we want to change or what we want to do something different. It is that time of renewal. So we celebrate Christmas, or where we do that reflection, and we are well positioned to think maybe different. And then comes New Year, it's like, okay, now that I thought different, that I can do something different, there's a new cycle that we start. And that new cycle, sometimes it lasts maybe a couple days for some of us, or lasts maybe longer, but we have the sort of the environment and the energy to even have more enthusiasm to do something new, right? To change. And it's up to us to make that change and to invest on that change. But in this cycle, in this December, the spirituality, God and Jesus, puts together the right environment for us to make some of the changes that are required. And the text continues saying that annually, the same exalted rays of the star of the Bethlehem are projected onto earth, clearing the path of the hearts in the wake of incessant days, silently summoning our souls to the essence of all resources for the supreme good. So we try to do even more good, even like in terms of charity, in terms of help, we are more inclined than maybe we were less inclined during the year. And we are more motivated to do that. The remembrance of the Master awakens new vibrations in the feeling of Christianity. So in this month, we are always invited day by day, not now, not today, not in Christmas, every day, to have that moment of intimacy. What is the moment of intimacy that we are having with God and with Jesus? And in this time, there are more things that allow us to have even more intimacy or improve the intimacy that we have with God in our prayers, or the frequency of our prayers, or the quantity of our prayers. So we have that environment that help us in identifying and doing that deep dive that we are invited to do every single day. But in this time, we have a better, even a better moment to do that. And we know that not only within ourselves, in this time, even if it's driven by some material things in terms of gifting, we are even more inclined to do some projecting of good. It's not only within ourselves, and we know that everything starts within ourselves, but also we are more inclined to do that projecting of good to our neighbors and sisters. The festive tone of our expressions of renewed confidence are very natural. However, we cannot forget the renovating work that Christmas invites us to do. Each year, despite the crystallized pessimism of many members who gave up temporarily from fraternal communion. How is Earth right now? Very quiet. Not so much, right? We are in this turbulent moment, right? But this festive tone that Christmas can help us, there is this encourage again to have this renewed feeling or this renewed confidence that there's something better for us. Even if that something better is not for the next 5 years or the next 10 years, but even for next year, there is this renewed joy, that renewed motivation, that we are invited to work on ourselves so we can start that 2026 with more of a right foot, or more with a more enthusiasm or more motivation. And even if we're talking about not only about this time, 2025, going to 2026, us as mortal spirits, we have other big cycles which are our own incarnation and reincarnations, right? And those cycles, this cycle of renewed joy can also be extended to the cycles of us as immortal spirits, as we're starting one incarnation after the other. And what are we doing within this incarnation that Luis is at that can be extended to the next incarnation, that I don't know who I'm going to be, what I'm going to do, and what will be the assessment and evaluation of what I've done good and what I still have to work on. So the cycles are part of our journey. So the text continues. The birthday of Jesus precedes the birthday of time. So we're ending 2025 to start 2026. With the Master, we receive the day of love and concord. So the day of, even though it's not completely sure if Jesus was born on 26, but it doesn't matter. To understanding that the concept and the core or the symbology of it, the day he is born, as we read on the text, is the day of love. In time, we find the day of universal fraternity. So the day that Jesus was born, renews our joy. The second reforms our accountability. And I like this two distinction. Let's give you joy, but don't forget, each one of us, there is accountability. No one else can do the transformation in ourselves other than ourselves. So we have that accountability of doing what is possible for each one of us to be done according to, I like to say, we're not in a race. Hopefully, when we discarnate here and we meet ourselves in the spiritual world, we won't look like, I got here first, or I did more, or I did less, right? Everyone has its own capabilities, have its own pains, have its own things that are invited to work here. And everyone, it doesn't matter, have that time of joy, and everyone will need to work on each one's accountability to do the transformation that is required. So far, does that make sense? Kind of this connection of holidays, calendar. Towards the end, and that's kind of, we'll build a bridge between this text and the other text. So let's start by offering him 5 minutes. Is that much? Offering God and offering ourselves, even to our own selves. 5 minutes of thought and activity. In a short space of time, our spirit will find itself converted into a living altar of its infinite goodwill towards creature, on the basis of wisdom and love. Let us not forget, if Jesus is not born and grows up in the manger of our souls, in vain the new years will open up for us enlightenment. And I love that sentence because every single one of us, again, is accountable to allow for Jesus to born in the manger of our own selves. And it doesn't, if we, of course, we won't say, oh, tomorrow I did everything, Jesus is inside me, I'm healed, I'm saved, or whatever we want to say. It's not like that. It is a process. But it's throughout this process that we'll be able, cycle after cycle, 27, 28, 29, that we'll be able to do the work in this process of enlightenment. However, if we don't, and as we know on the Spirit's book, Jesus is our model and guide. If we don't allow Jesus to be born, it will be harder for us to make the transformation that is required for us to make. Does that make sense? On kind of this, even symbolic, if it's the birth of Jesus, but the birth of Jesus is not only external, it's the birth of Jesus inside of our own selves. And again, extending not only in 2 years, but some maybe in each one of us will be in some level of process, even in this entire incarnation, to allow for Jesus to born within us, for that in the next incarnation we can do even better, and we can do even more work as we build more capacity, as we build more strength, and as we build more experience to make the change that is required to make in ourselves. Comments? No? Okay.
Should we say that every day should be Christmas then?
Every day should be Christmas, exactly. But what I like to, because we kind of establish our society, establish this time has even better, improves our chances to make this work. That's how the invitation is every day. But now, in this time when everybody's connected, and is connected to some sort of a thing that is higher, that is like more spiritual, or more things that are related to our spiritual evolution, we improve our work, or it's a little bit easier to do this work, or we feel more connected.
It's also about the vibration.
Vibration, yeah.
We receive this invitation every day.
Yeah.
For every day to be Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we are willing to, it's gonna be there. Like Jesus is gonna be there for us every day.
Exactly.
But we receive like 100 other invitations every day, and we kind of forget or let it go. Like, oh, that's the future, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in Christmas, we are allowing ourselves to feel that.
Yeah.
And it grows and brings hope. It brings hope.
It brings
because,
hope,
you can always experience the change in yourselves, like just let Jesus come inside of us.
Is the most
Wonderful time. But that is,
There's more people thinking the same way, so that elevates this energy, the vibration, and this connection too, right? So
and
one day will be every day, but for now it's still.
But even with songs, like we were here just before we start this meeting, and we are rehearsing for our Christmas party, trying to put together some songs. Even that, those 30 minutes, it touched me.
Yeah.
Like as you're singing, it's like you feel goosebumps, you feel more connected.
Yeah.
You do feel it's tangible. It is tangible how art and how this moment can really help us as a springboard and as like a push, like, Luis, like you're struggling with this, but now maybe
Levanta-te e vai.
levanta-te e vai, like get up and
Get
go.
up and go.
Get up and go. Even those, like, because we can also refer to some of the books. For example, André Luiz, we just read Between Heaven and Hell. There was a part there where the spirits were helping other spirits before incarnating, and they were talking about the power of voice. That voice is an emanation of energy, and we gotta be careful and be aware when you're saying something, and what is the energy that we are saying, right? Or the energy we're transmitting. It starts in our thoughts and our emotions, but when we verbalize it, there's more energy going there. So imagine that can be good or can be bad. So when you're singing in praise of God, in praise of Jesus, that encourages us, it is that energy that maybe can do a little bit of a kick that might be missing or might help each one of us to continue and doing some of the work that we're required to do. And I felt that even this morning was a good energy and a good vibration for me especially. Yeah.
I would add to that singing, I don't know if it's for everyone, but for me it's the purest connection with God. Like it's just so it's beyond words, it's beyond understanding. It just connects so quickly.
Yeah.
It's like a shortcut to heaven.
Yeah, exactly.
But then we come back.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Do you think it matters how much, and this goes back to, I think what you were saying earlier, is all these opportunities are really available to the extent that we accept the invitation to use your word. So I think it's a lovely reflection as to what the opportunity is,
Yeah.
you know, and what can just flow into our entire existence. Yet, I mean, Renato's mentioned this a few times about just the energy of prayer. I think you have it as well, just the energy of prayer, how if we're all close to it, that it just stays, but it's not something that we can actually, that really resonates inside of us because we ourselves chose to keep it at a distance, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, to that point that you're making, the opportunity is all there, the invitation, the circumstances, the hymns, the services, they're all there. Yet if you choose to take this, as many North Americans especially do, is in a completely secular context, where I don't even know they think about Jesus the entire time. It's like presents in the tree and the star, they just do it because that's what they do, and it looks kind of nice. but the meaning is completely lost on them. Then it just becomes that.
Yeah.
And so it's as valuable and it's as impactful as we, each and every one of us, to your point, the invitation every day, the invitation at this time of year, allow it to be in our own lives.
Yeah. And even, like, I love the connection, two connections. First, are we willing or allowing ourselves to be open to that opportunity, first? And second, this relation with prayer, right? Like art, prayer, and how even before, if we're singing, or we can even better connect to do even a more thoughtful prayer, right? And how we are connecting to not only God and Jesus, but all the spirituality that is here, right? And I can imagine, like here, we know that, spoiler alert, we're not alone here, right? We are here incarnated, but there's lots of others that are here discarnated. And there might be some of those that are more in suffering. And this activity of us sending and the energy that we're vibrating, how is helping others that might be here that are not doing very well, right? And how can then console and alleviate some of the pains. And especially with the whole world, not the whole, but maybe more than other times of the year, what is that energy is helping also the ones that are discarnated, that needed that feeling of that energy to continue or even to start their transformation. Because the transformation doesn't stop here. It continues, right? Life is not here. Life is actually on the spiritual world.
Please, I don't think we can avoid that energy because everywhere you go, you're reminded of this month's transformation.
Yeah.
Like I go to the daycare, there's like donation,
Yeah.
or like on the phone, like everywhere you go, people are getting together to
Yeah.
do something better. So we are invited.
Yeah.
Like-
Invitation is stronger.
It is.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
stronger
Yeah,
and
you
more.
can
Yeah.
see that.
Ignore.
Yeah, you
Ignore,
can
yeah.
ignore, like, and you won't really see that effort. I think
Yeah.
it's the effort. Like everybody's doing something for someone else.
Yeah.
Like we can't really see in the 6 months of the year. Like it's very different. It's a different vibe.
It's a different vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, just a comment like on actually the title of the talk and the first prayer as well. We gotta get ready for that.
Mhm.
And that comes with a question that happened to me a lot of times, and I'm sure happens to everyone in the world. Like, am I entitled to actually experience that change? Like, am I good enough
Mhm.
to accept that invitation? And the first prayer talks about that, like the greedy people and everyone is entitled to
Everyone is
Like-
entitled, yeah.
that. There's this bad phrase in Portuguese, like, tá no inferno, abraço capeta. Like,
I don't even know that.
people think that because I'm too bad, I
Oh.
can't be good.
Yeah.
I can't be good because I'm already too bad. But like Christmas comes and shows like everyone can
Everyone.
experience that change themselves. So don't let it go.
I didn't get the first part.
Yeah, tá no inferno, abraço
Tá no
capeta.
inferno,
That's
abraço
correct.
capeta.
Get out of there.
Okay.
It's very common. So.
Yeah.
I am impressed. Like we're from the same city, and I never
I
heard
never
that.
heard of that.
You're from the
Really?
same city 30 years before this.
Tá no inferno, basicamente.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Tipo, go with the flow.
Go with the
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you're
So
there,
when this is
just
here,
embrace.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that. Get out of there. And everyone's entitled to that.
And that's a good reflection for us to remember, because sometimes we feel that we don't deserve.
Yeah.
Sometimes more, sometimes less, many times, yeah. But that's a call for us,
Yeah.
because do we have people here that some of them are sons of God and sons or daughters, or some are not?
We're all.
We're all invited, and we're all have the same. No, each one has their own skills to navigate, but everyone is. The divine mercy also does not choose someone that deserves more or less. Every one of us have the same. There's no line to go to get divine mercy before incarnating. It's everyone has the same mercy from God and from Jesus. So now let's go a little bit on the symbolic. So this is from the book Antologia Mediúnica Natal. I don't know how to say antologia. Anthology? Is that a word?
Anthology, yeah.
Anthology, the mediumistic anthology for Christmas. That would be. This is a bunch of texts that are psychographed by Chico from the various spirits. And this one is from Brother X or Humberto de Campos, which, as we know, wrote Good News, Boa Nova, and he has this feeling of kind of reporter, and he kind of describes some sort of situation of he saw it and transmits that context to us. So he was in a lecture in the spiritual world, and that lecture was about Christmas and what really matters for Christmas for us to recognize what really matter. And he says, delicate harmonies cross the landscape of the lucid message as the lucid message continues. Each spirit is a world where Christ must be born. I think that's powerful as well. Each one of us, even though we're living in this world, each one of us is another world that is invited to allow Christ to be born within us. And every one of us have the resources, and God and Jesus will give the resources according to the need, even though sometimes we might say, I wish I have X, or I wish I have Z, or I wish I have A, right? To endure whatever I'm doing. But if we trust into God is supreme, just and loving, we do have everything that is required. And he says, it would have been madness to hope for the reform of the world without a reformed man. It's madness to think that this world will just flip a switch and now we are a world of regeneration. No, there is a requirement within our own selves. We'll never meet Christians without building the Christmas soul. And that's even more true with the state that the planet is in, with this madness thing, and we keep hearing planet of regeneration. When is that going to happen? How does that look like? What is my role in doing that? And we do have a role. Otherwise, if someone says, oh, Luis, no, you were good, you were transformed. There's no merit. There's no progress. Every one of us needs to do our own part. And as long as we do our own part, God and Jesus would give whatever else is necessary. But at the same time, we don't need to feel burdened, saying, oh my God, if I do my part, but I know that my neighbor here might not be able to do or whatever, there is a point that it's not only ourselves that will make this world to transition. There's an entire orchestration of different spirits and different resources that will be at the disposal of this planet to make the transformation that is required to be transformed. And it would have been madness to hope for the reform of the world without a reformed man, as I read. And then Arthur makes a good question. Christmas here is about gifts, right? There's a lot of this, what are we giving? It's holiday shopping. I've done my holiday shopping, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all of that. But what is the best gift or contribution that we can give Christ right now? If we're talking about gift, what is the gift that each one of us here can give to Christ?
Coming one step closer to the Christ in us.
Exactly. Transformation. It's the transformation in ourselves is the best gift and the best, for lack of a better word, kind of initiative and project that we can do while incarnated here. Why is that?
That's what we're here for.
And what else?
It's all he wants from us.
That's all he wants. That's why we're here, why he wants. And also, is where and how we can do. Can we do the transformation on the neighbor?
No.
Sometimes we might
We
wish.
Sometimes it's
But is that our role? No. We do have some things that we can do, right? We plant seeds. That one thing that it's up or it in our hands to do is show example, right? Not pray saying, Evangelho, be a spiritist. Outside spiritism, there's no salvation. That's not what. But we can practice and we can show. Yeah, that's something. But when you're doing that, we are already doing in ourselves, right?
And I think it's not only the best gift we can give Christ. I think it's the best gift we can give to ourselves. Because, as Attila said, that's why we're here.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So, if we don't let Him be born inside ourselves, I think there's no way to follow Him or accept Him.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good change. It's not for Christ, but for our own, a gift to ourselves.
It's for both, I guess.
For both, I guess, yeah.
And the best gift we could give to each other as well.
Yeah.
This gets back to
Yes.
As society.
can we transform other people? Yes, by transforming ourselves.
Ourselves, yeah.
And then they will
That's true.
naturally be drawn to transform themselves
Yeah.
as well.
So this is why the Christmas of the Lord is of profound importance for every one of us. So it is this strong invitation. Even if we can enter a different world within our own selves in 2026. Take baby steps, right? Take one step closer. If 2026 can be that is a success. And this is, I think this is beautiful. As he mentions about world of us, he continues saying that we have with us oceans of divine blessings, wonderful continents of possibilities, forests of feelings to be educated. Oh man, we do have those.
Yes.
Deserts of ignorance to be corrected, innumerable tribes of thoughts that populate us, the infinite extension of our inner world. From time to time, refreshing storms. I thought that was refreshing storms sweep our inner selves. I think that's a good change of lenses when we are going through a struggle. And relentless hurricanes hit our lying idols. I think the poetic description of this, representing and making and using language that we know, oceans, hurricanes, storms, tribes, that can really describe this big world that is within our own selves. That this world of divine potential in our own selves that can use the divine blessings to navigate some of those storms. And don't we have several of those? We have a few. We have a few hurricanes that we need to endure in our life. So, and I think for most of us here, right, there are immigrants, and it's so interesting that when, like, we left a different geographic region, now we are here in a different geographic region. And I think that that's a good analogy and a simple analogy of how we're navigating this new country, learning some of these beautiful mountains and some of these beautiful landscapes in this different country, but at the same time being hit by some snowstorms and some cold weather. And how can that translate tangibly as material, but how can that translate some of the courage that we had coming here and the courage that we invited to have to uncover some of those mountains in ourselves, some of those oceans and deserts in our own self, to take and reap the benefits and all the skills that we have, and at the same time navigating the challenges. I like the deserts of ignorance, right? The forests of feelings that we're invited to change, to correct, to change for something good.
I find refreshing storms. It's like I'm still trying to find the refreshing.
Yeah, that's a big invitation.
When the storms are coming,
when it said refreshing,
I don't
it's
see
like,
the refreshing.
sometimes those storms might hit hard, right? And might not be, but might not be refreshing. But the interest point for me is at the end point, after that.
In hindsight.
Yeah, in hindsight, that's a good word. In hindsight, see that refreshness of how you overcame that storm. So let's see how much I can get here. So on the symbolic Christmas, now he starts to compare what happened historically when Jesus was born and what does that mean for each one of us. So the birth of Jesus happened at a time of census. So what happened when Jesus was born? They had to leave the town they were and go to a different place. And finding that different place. When we do census, it's about counting, right? How many people live here? How many people speak this or do that? And when we are in this transformation, we reach the essential transformation precisely in the stage of spiritual accounts with our own conscience. It's like, oh, Luis, you're losing that virtue, or you're losing that patience. Why you're losing? It's somewhat related to this sense of investigating what is happening inside of Luis that is maybe not work very well, or is causing or not being in balance or being imbalanced or not having harmony. So in that, similar to a census, we start asking fundamental questions towards our own selves to reveal what are that need to be changed, right? And Paul of Tarsus is a good example. When he was going to Damascus, he was like, what is happening? All those people they found peace. They found, they're following Jesus, and I'm here struggling. I have everything that I need. I have power, I have knowledge, and I still haven't found what those other people found. So that point of reflection, again, the same way that when Jesus was born is when we go through that reasoning of our own selves to see what needs to be changed and what even needs to stick or needs to remain here because it's doing well. We're doing good. There was no place for the Lord. It was different. It was difficult, right? They were navigating the journey, and there was no where would he be born, right? And sometimes, or most of the times, we don't have the mental space for divine inspiration. Why we don't have mental space for divine inspiration? What happens?
Is it filling up with other things?
Other things.
Stuff or thoughts.
The world is being more important than me finding a place for Jesus to be born. It's like routine and things and what we might be prioritizing or the imbalances that we have in ourselves. So it's hard sometimes for us to find that mental space for divine inspiration because sometimes we are absorbed by our anxieties or sometimes our ignorance. We don't know how to deal with this, right? And we get a little bit flustered. And that's why when we talked about or studied about prayer this week, it's kind of finding that space. Not only physical, I need to lock the door and close the door, and that's the space where I'm going to my room, but it's finding that time within ourselves to connect and to connect our thoughts, connect our feelings and our minds to God, and disconnect for some of the things that are happening in the world. And if I go back to the previous message, finding that 5 minutes, if so, for each one of us to be connected and to see and to find that inspiration for us to make the changes that we're invited to make.
I think it's also, Luis, because, at least I'm speaking for myself, like, sometimes I forget that I am an immortal spirit.
You want to solve right now. Like there's no other life.
Sometimes I see, right? I see myself just like in an illusion that it's only this life and this world, when it's not.
Yeah. It continues to be continued.
Yeah.
But being mindful of what we can do right now.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Sometimes we go into that pendulum, say, too hard. Maybe one or two next to one or two incarnations.
Yeah.
Right? So for us to be aware if you're being to some sort of lazy and accommodating, not to do the work. The only inn or hospedaria for the sublime guest was the manger. So what does it mean? We offer to evangelical thought only a few miserable straws of our goodwill in the darkest place of our minds. So that is related as well of sometimes we just give those 5 minutes when actually we do have more capability, right? We do have more opportunities and resources to give a little bit more, to push maybe a little bit more in how we dedicate our time to our evolvement and development of our own spirit. And I like when Ju mentions a few talks ago, there's no division. Be Spiritist in the Spirit Center. don't be a spiritist or don't practice anything in our work. There's no line between who we are at work, who we are here, who we are in society. The work happens as a spiritist every time, at every moment. We have that invitation. 5 minutes, okay. The celestial infant appears within the night. Why do you think Jesus was born during the night?
Because he's bringing light to darkness.
In the darkness time, that's where we need light.
Exactly. Almost always we do not feel the goodness of the Lord except at the height of our shadows, of the shadows of our worries and failures. Right? It's where we connect more. There's nothing wrong, but if we learn even connecting and being grateful of, okay, this worked well. Sometimes we don't reflect on what we worked well, but if we do that, we can say, oh, if this worked well, this can be applied to situation A, B, C, and D, and I can kind of transferable skills that can be done and can be used in different aspects of our lives. Yeah, and exactly. It's in that darkness that we need more. The prodigal star breaks the darkness in the great silent. So what does it mean? When the germs of Christ sprout in our souls, the star of divine hope challenges our inner darkness, obscuring the past, clarifying the present, and indicating the future. So I like to bring this reflection to what we, in the Spirit's book, sometimes passions get a bad rap, right? It's like, oh, passions are all bad. The Spirit's book says passions exactly are this motor. It's what drives us, what makes us move forward. The challenge is when it's not guided. There's no one piloting that, and those passions take over everything. And who guides us? What is the guidance and who is the manager of those passions? Is our will. That's why we have the cabinet of the will. It's that will, a nossa vontade. The will of connecting the will to the God's will to drive it to the right path, to achieve the right things. When they just want to achieve things for themselves, that's when we get into some sort of a trouble. And when we encounter those passions and we bring Christ, that can shine the light, right? Because those passions, when not guided, they're just at that point a dark spot, and that dark spot just needs light so we can use it to accomplish. Another great example, who? Our beloved Paul, right? He had the passion. He had these strengths and these skills, and what he did, he was directing in not the right space before encounter Jesus, but then he used his entire energy and all his passion now guided to the right direction. And that gives us kind of that hope for the future, that hope that I can do that, and there is a better future for us.
I know we will still do like more reflection over Christmas, but since you got on that, we will have our last of the year.
Yeah.
But one thing that calls my attention is like how nowadays, how modern society takes it and kind of distort a little bit. So there are lots of symbols on gift giving and stuff. And then we go when our shopping malls are packed and we work a lot for those things that we don't need. We give people things that maybe they also don't need. And that makes me remember one of Jossandra's lectures that he just points out. Have you noticed when the news are saying like, oh, this is the worst Christmas of the last 10 years. Shopping or sales came down these many percent. So the Christmas is measured on how much
Materials.
our economy is blooming or how much we are selling, how much we are buying as well. And then I think on top of that, it's a time where people overindulge, like eating too much, drinking too much, and then we come, and this is actually research, we come to January and people are more depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thinking about like there is all this invitation on focusing on our inner self and letting the light shine and being more generous or practicing fraternity, and then we just like we take the needle to the whole other side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And then there is lots of hope, lots of promise, and then you get on January 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and then it's a lot of that and a lot of like darkness.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just thinking about
Yeah.
that.
Isn't it Christmas when people, like, the percentage of people taking up their lives goes up?
Mm-hmm. A lot.
Because- Yeah, because it's a moment, especially if you don't have family or something.
There is a lot of loneliness.
Yeah, loneliness and emotions.
Because
like
people
that.
are gathering with families and it's hard.
Mhm.
Yes, yeah.
And there is a lot of shopping anxiety too. It's a time that, oh, I didn't get my Christmas list or I didn't do what I was supposed to do. And there is all this anxiety. I learned about Christmas list here because in Brazil, like there is Christmas wish gift, but now, especially children, they actually make a big list. And they have a lot, yeah.
Really?
It's for grandma, for the other grandparents, for mom and dad, for Santa, yeah. It's a Christmas list.
I've never had one, I guess.
There you go. You have options maybe if you're fortunate that your parents can afford. But then we have Santa Claus and
I mean,
he doesn't come for everybody because the poor can't afford to believe in Santa.
I'll make a list, but I'll get one.
Sometimes it wasn't in the list, right?
Okay, I have 1 minute, so there's a lot, so I'll just select some of the other contexts. And because we were talking about the energy, we talk about singing, so they sing heavenly militias, os anjos comemoram, né? And at the moment of our renewing Christ, our old companions already redeemed, exult with contentment in the upper sphere, giving glory of contentment, repeat, exalted with contentment in the upper sphere, giving glory to God and blessing the spirits of goodwill. Which kind of reminds, like, as we start overflowing this, as this energy starts getting out of us, it starts touching. And when I read this, I can't imagine if I do something and it's kind of going the right direction, my guardian angel's like, ooh. Right? It's like, it's kind of, it's not a reward, but something that he can say, oh, now he understands. Now he's listening. And now he is doing something. So it's not only our guardian angels, but the entire spirituality on earth that can start vibrating kind of the changes and the renewal that we have, that we are doing in our own selves. And that overflow to others.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I'll let you finish. I know you're really trying to get it in there.
He's actually looking at the clock.
Yes.
Similar, pastors spread the wonderful news. Our thoughts, congratulated by the creative impulse of Jesus, communicate with others, organizing themselves for the new life. We're investing in ourselves, so we are helping the society. So what else do we have? Let's see what's the end here. Okay, I'll just go to the end. So later, celestial boy surprises the old doctor. So Christian thought clashes. So here is kind of to your point of this idea of material things, right? Of Christmas is good when sales was good and the world is doing good materially. But actually, the true meaning is when we make our transformation, and that transformation really clashes with some old stuff, with what is convenient for the economy or for the world, or for the world that we are living in it. But this philosophy and this faith that we are now invited to develop that can change. If each one of us can make that change within our own selves, that can start breaking those barriers and making the world a little bit better for all of us. And I just want to leave for 2 questions. So have we opened the necessary space in our souls so Jesus can be born and dwell with us? And have we adopted the gospel of Jesus as a vibrant guideline or script in our own lives to make that change? And using that time right now to welcome and to make that change in ourselves. I think I was too ambitious to talk about everything. Awesome.
You did well. You literally
Yeah.
did 2 minutes.
Yeah, and I make fun
It's
of
not
it.
my job.
You're
The
gonna say
kids
something.
and people that evangelization
Yeah.
appreciate
Yeah.
when you finish your time.
The only thought I had was just that idea that you were sharing so appropriately as to, you know, Jesus shows up in the darkness and then we start building, we accept the invitation and the analogy for in our own lives, and that as you start to witness the light so clearly at first in the dark, it gets easier and easier to see it, even as the night draws to an end and the day starts coming up, and you can recognize it in your own life even so much more simply the more that you engage with it and you engage with that life, so that it becomes, the world has to be less loud with you in order to get you to understand what it's trying to teach you, you know? So
It's an exercise, right?
yes.
And maybe the gym is free for the exercise. It's Christmas. We don't.
That's
It's a poor analogy, but yeah, this December is when we're more we can go more to the gym and make that transformation. Yes. But the invitation is for every day, for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so let us pray. So connected as we are to God, to Jesus, to our guardian angels, and to the entire spiritual team. Be thankful once again for this opportunity that we are here to learn more the meaning of the birth of Jesus and how are we making space for Him to be born inside ourselves. Be thankful for all the spiritual team that guide, that help us in making the reflections and creating the necessary environment for us to acquire knowledge and information, and each one of us can make the efforts according to each one of us capabilities to make the changes every single day in our lives. May this time that we are entering right now at Christmas, we be renewed with joy, with love, and that we can use our work and our strength to make the necessary changes for us, not only in the next year, but all the days that we have in this incarnation. Let us have not only a blessed week, but another blessed season, a Christmas season and a holiday season, encouraging every one of us to transbord and to overflow this love from ourselves to our family and to the entire society that we live in. Let's have another blessed week of serenity, love, and peace. So be it.